everybody? Welcome back to the podcast Morning Drew. It's me, Andrew. As you know, I'm also known as Tank by some, and I'm hosting the damn thing. I pressed record, and we're recording, baby. What's up? How are you? Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm doing okay. This past week has been a little busy, as has been a common theme in the last several weeks, it would seem. Working like a dog, racking up the big money, saving up for savings, and also for big expensive coffee related toys, writing jokes. The joke writing aspect actually has had a big impact on my lack of content for this current podcast. Just a heads up, guys, the well is a little dry this week. I put a lot of my creative energy towards my stand-up comedy because I have been doing some stand-up comedy auditions for some of the clubs down here in Southern California, specifically the greater Los Angeles area. I already did them. In fact, I did them maybe like a couple hours ago. They went well, I feel like. I think I did a good job. I'm looking forward to possibly hearing back from those places and getting booked for live gigs because those are becoming a thing again, thankfully. LA's kind of just crushing it. Like, I've been seeing loads of headlines saying that Los Angeles will essentially have herd immunity by July or something like that. And it's kind of insane to think about. You know, we've been in this ruckus for well over a year now. To think that we could just be back to doing whatever the hell we were doing before. Who could even conceive of it? But it's right here. It's extremely funny to me that these industries that have been exploiting cheap labor are scrambling to get asses in seats because we as a people just aren't letting them anymore, and they're blaming unemployment. And it's like, no, dude, it's you. And we had a year to reflect on our self-worth, and we don't want to go back to our job flipping burgers, as many of you put it in a very condescending way. It's funny, I've certainly felt it at the restaurant where I work. The front of house place where the hosts and things like that work has such a high turnover rate right now. There's a new teenager up there every day, I feel like. And none of them know how to do it because there is no time to train them. And so every day I have to yell. I don't yell at people. I'm not especially confrontational, but there have been several occasions where I have to go up to them and be like, hey, so that thing you just did to me sucks. So you can either help me or find someone to help me, and don't do that anymore. Sometimes they're real skittish and they're like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. But it wasn't me, thankfully, but one person straight up just laughed and walked away. I'm glad I was not the person they laughed at because I probably would have had a bad time. But, good for you people. To hell with them. Raise that minimum wage. We should be able to get a decent living performing any job full time. But maybe I'm just hippy-dippy in that way that I want everyone to have access to a happy life without putting themselves in strained situations. Sorry, I just flipped a coin. But yeah, so, I've been plugging away at the restaurant. I'm trying to put aside a chunk of change so I could buy a really nice new espresso machine. I just love espresso so much. This past year has really allowed me to blossom in that way, in that I just love the stuff. And I'm really looking forward to possibly upgrading. The coffee grinder I've had my eye on, they had pre-orders on the UK version of it, which has a special outlet that is not compatible here across the pond. But I still peeked out of curiosity, and it didn't sell out for 4 hours. So I feel like there's a good chance I'll be able to get a US version as soon as the pre-orders for those begin. God, I've been obsessing over that fucking thing. That and the actual espresso machine that I have my eye on. I guess that's what I've been digging, dude. Honestly, I just watch videos of people using those espresso machines, and I just get so excited over it. And my machine is great too. Like I said, I love it a lot. It's a nice little all-in-one, and it makes a fine beverage. But then there's the paranoia that lives in my heart and brain. That's you're going to spend that money and then you're going to lose your job and you're going to fucking lose your foot and you're not going to be able to walk and and half of your brain is going to fall out of your nose and you're not going to be able to think. And you're going to wish you still had all that money that you spent on that espresso machine. I'm trying not to let my self-destructive tendencies take over and let me live my life and spend my hard-earned money on the things that make me happy. So shut the hell up, Andrew, aka Tank. But yeah, this week's been a doozy. No, not necessarily. It's just been busy, and I haven't had a lot of time for leisurely activities, and the small amounts of time that I have had for leisure, I've spent obsessing over these espresso machine toys. So this is going to be a short one, I think, and I'm probably just going to go to one of those websites where I answer random personal questions. I've always wanted to do that, and I think I am a thoughtful enough person to come up with some pretty fun answers to some of these queries. And if not, then it's okay, because I'll have an episode to run an ad for Anchor.fm on. I'll just be one of those guys now that just makes content just to run ads on them. Why the hell not? Because it's corny. Don't do that, Andrew. Do things because you like doing them. Anyway, it was Mother's Day last weekend. I hope you all said I love you to your mothers. And if you don't have a mother that you are able to say I love you to, I hope you at least had positive thoughts and energy, and that you had loved ones in your life that you could reach out to and express appreciation towards. And if that's not the case, then you know what? I love you. And I hope you're well. And, you have yourself and your health, and that's important. And if you don't have yourself and your health, then at least you have Taco Bell. And that stuff is delicious. And we can all agree on that, probably. But yeah, I was working at the restaurant on the day of Mother's Day. It was actually kind of nice. It was really cute seeing all the families like gussied up, and all the like cute older moms in their like mid to late 50s wearing cute summer dresses with like flowers on them and stuff. It was really nice. It was nice seeing them all, with their family that they love so much and looking so dapper. It made me, of course, really miss my mom, who I did not get to see. I don't know that I've been home for any of these non-big three holidays. Oh, is there a big three? Christmas for sure. I guess Thanksgiving. Is there a third big holiday? Easter? Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Maybe miss my mom, but I did call her and I said I loved her and stuff, and so I'll probably get to see her in the near future. Who knows? Me, I know. I'm probably going to get to see her in the near future. I am making arrangements for it. Please don't break into my house. Please. Please don't do it. I like my house so much. Don't figure out the days that I'm leaving and break into my house, please. You won't do it. Although it would be nice if one of you came and took care of my cat for me. Nah, I've got someone coming. But feel free to reach out anyway, just in case. Just saying. But yeah, Mother's Day was cute. Angela went and visited her mother and sister. I understand that they had a pretty nice time together. They all smoke weed, which is insane to me. Not that they smoke weed, but that they smoke weed together. Mother and daughters and sisters. Like, if I can't relate. People out there can, and I'm happy, good for them. I'm sure it's nice, but you won't find me doing any of that foolishness. I get anxious drinking alcohol around my family, honestly, which is why I have to drink more alcohol when I do. It's a slippery slope. I'm sure I'll think of stuff to say as I answer these funny questions, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I hope y'all don't mind. I trust that there is something cool that will come up that may catch your fancy. If not, then leave the episode running while you do your other chores so that I could get those listens and views and hits. Because I will have weeks where I do have stuff to say, and I sure would love to have an audience for when that time comes. Thanks. I just realized I don't have my jokes pulled up. Let me pull those up. I did write my daily jokes like I do. I missed a couple of days. It's been kind of annoying. Like, once every week or so, I've just had like a ripping headache. I don't know if it's because of the big salads I've been eating, if I'm just eating too much spinach. It ain't gonna stop me. Get used to it, guts. Did I read these jokes with Noel? By the way, I hope you listened to the episode with my friend Noel. Or Daniel. I keep going back and forth on which one I call him. I'm sorry, man. I'm also sorry for doxing you for like every single piece of private information. But, I don't know. You're my buddy. And I like talking to you. Alright, my jokes are pulled up. Yeah, at this point, I guess I'm just gonna shuffle this page. It's called 371 Random Get to Know Me Tag Questions. Yeah, I guess people on those websites where it's a tag probably use these, but you won't catch me getting tagged. I had to seek it out. So let's shuffle these motherfuckers up, huh? Here we go. Woohoo! What scares you about aging? Holy hell. That's a heavy question. Get to know me tag. What scares me about aging? I mean, being stuck in a fleshy prison that doesn't work properly, and having to depend on others to help me live out my days, being a burden on others. It's, part of my incentive for trying to get my act together recently, like lose weight and be active and stretch and eat spinach, even though it makes my head hurt. Maybe I'm allergic to spinach. I should Google that if I can be allergic. Anyway, I mean, death is scary in general, What happens? You go to the pearly gates and St. Pete's just like, hey, Andrew, you jack off too much, so I can't let you in. And I'm like, oh. Or, the thing I'm most scared of, which is utter nothingness. But, I think this isn't asking me what scares me about dying. It's about what scares me about aging. I guess I also worry about regret, feeling like I didn't spend my time well, which is all the more reason to spend your time in a way that you feel is good. I don't know. Just do what makes you happy, even if what makes you happy is sitting around. I like sitting around, but I also like telling jokes. That's the big incentive to move to LA to chase my dreams, is if I didn't do it, then there's a chance I would regret not doing it. But now that I'm pursuing it, even in the worst case scenario where it doesn't work out, I can at least say I tried. And then I guess seeing my loved ones pass away is probably kind of scary. Man, this isn't a fun question. What the fuck? All right, I'm going to move on. How difficult is it for you to be honest, even when your words may be hurtful or unpopular? It depends on the circumstances. I've always been of the impression that honesty is the best policy, but I'm also extremely thumper from Bambi philosophy, where if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I guess it is difficult for me to use hurtful language, but I feel like I'm good enough at language that I can be honest, even when the message I'm conveying is that of, less than ideal circumstances. Yeah, that's my answer. How did I just get to? Am I in the bummer chapter? Is this the bummer zone? Holy hell! I'm scrolling. Fuck these questions. Moving on. Have I ever dated two people at a time? No. I have had big fat crushes on multiple people at a time and been paralyzed with indecision until I ended up with neither of them. That didn't feel good. That felt quite bad, actually. But that's high school for you. What else we got? After a breakup, would I rather be alone or surrounded by friends? I mean, friends. Yeah. Because sometimes when you're feeling down, you can be a little too hard on yourself, hypothetically. So you want to have as much forward, outward energy as possible. Create positive energy. And having friends helps with that. It's a nice reminder that you're not alone, and that the big wheel keeps on turning and the Proud Mary keeps on burning. Although you should take time to reflect. Eventually, it's better to be with loved ones. What flavor of tea do I enjoy? Oh, I love tea. Spot of tea. Earl Grey's pretty good. That's like the most popular one, isn't it? Earl Grey with some vanilla, maybe some soy milk in there. Ooh boy. Even just by itself. Or with some honey. I do like honey a lot. There was one point where I disliked honey, and I think it was because I ate some honey just by itself. The first time I ate honey, I just had a big old glob of honey and I chewed on it because Winnie the Pooh made that stuff look oh so scrumptious. And I saw it and I was like, well, certainly I can stick my hand in this little honey jar and have a good old time. And I ate it and I was like, this is horrible. And then ages later, I've revisited honey and it's quite lovely. I don't know if I would eat it by itself, but it creates a fun experience when paired with toast, a hot beverage, a bagel, cream cheese, peanut butter, honey. What is the worst grade you got on a test? Damn, it's been a minute. I mean, I've failed a test. Probably. Have I? Certainly I've failed a test. It would have been in college. It was probably in college. We had a movie class I forget the name of the class, but it was taught by a gentleman named Schulteis. The class was literally like you show up, you watch a black and white movie, he talks about it for a minute, and you go home. He tells you to read books, you don't read the books. He gives a test where the questions are so over the top, very specific, that you will only know the answer if you read the book. And it only takes one or two before you get the message that it's like, all right, I got to read these books. And yeah, like, you know, I'm definitely one of those fucking gifted and talented education kids that like was talked up when I was young and being like, you're so smart. It all comes so easy for you, doesn't it? That like I just never learned to try when it came to schoolwork. And so when I reached the point where I needed to try, it took a minute for me to get acclimated. But you know, I got there. And I read the books. They were pretty good books. There's a reason why he makes you read them. Man, I took a comic book class. No, well, I did take a comic book class, but I took a pop culture class, and the assignment was read Fight Club, the best-selling book, you know, the best-selling book that everyone loves. I still didn't read that shit. That's how much of a fucking underachiever I was at that point in my life. And in the comic book class, too, man, that shit was a letdown. There were a couple of cool comic books we read, but there were a bunch of... The instructor was so stuck on the concept of comic books can be art, or graphic novels as well, that they just wouldn't... Like, they just kept assigning these super heavy comics that is like I guess it proves their point, but at the same time, it was not what I had in mind, nor was it what anyone had in mind. Probably. They all probably thought they were reading Batman. And we did read Batman. But that was stupid. I think I got a C in that class. Man, that is the most unfair thing that ever happened to me, actually, in that class was I was docked a letter grade for using the wrong font on my final paper when the font I used was Arial, which is the default font for Mac, and I think Pages is the program. And she dinged me a full letter grade, and I was like, it's the default font. What do you want from me? She was like, nope, it had to be Times New Roman. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess when you teach a class about a subject that is easy to not take seriously, you have to be a bit of a stickler, but that still didn't feel fair to me. But I passed it with a C, so, you know, fuck it. Ask me the last comic I read. I don't remember. What is under your bed? A couple of yoga mats. I do use my yoga mat in spurts. Like, I used it for my fitness boxing. I used it for actual yoga. I used it for my calisthenics when I was in the quarantine. So it's not just sitting there gathering dust. I do use it pretty... Well, I haven't used it recently, but I've been getting a lot of physical activity at work. I also have my keyboard under there. Kind of the same story where, like, when I set it up, I use it, but then it's kind of big and cumbersome. It's been under there for the full year that I've been living in my current apartment. Anything else under there? Oh, my electric guitar. I have my acoustic guitar out just because it's easier. It's a much smaller guitar. It's easier to pick up and play and just fiddle around. The electric guitar is, you know, I'm playing it and I'm like, I wish I had this plugged into an amp and I was just ripping fat power chords. It just doesn't suit my current living situation to have that out. Is there anything else under there? Not that I can see. I think that's pretty much it. Dust. A lot of dust. What is one guilty pleasure you enjoy too much to give up? Currently, sugar-free energy drinks. Yeah, there's another point in time where I would have said junk food or fast food, but I have not been struggling to give that up, so it seems I am capable. These drinks are just so refreshing and fun, and they make me feel good. I mean, it's drugs. They are made of drugs. We all have our vices. As long as it is legal and it does not cause harm to others or yourself, I don't think there's any reason why any pleasure should be considered guilty. If you're enjoying it, then enjoy it to its fullest potential. Don't feel bad. That's my take on that, I guess. What is something about yourself that you hope will change, but probably never will? Ooh, yikes. Oof. Oh boy, that's tough. It's really hard for me to not treat myself. Like, I want to be... I keep telling myself that in order to allow myself the time and resources to fully commit myself to comedy writing, I need to make some sacrifices in other parts of my life, and that may include certain luxuries that I've always enjoyed. And I never last long. I always end up getting food I like. I always end up getting toys that I like, a video game. I don't know, man. Like, I just can't be a starving artist. It's just not in my nature, I guess. Maybe I'm just a spoiled brat. Maybe I'm enormously privileged, which, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and argue against that. You know, I've had a good life. In fact, it's privileged of me to seek out the starving artist lifestyle. You know, some people just are tossed into it or born into it. I sought it out. But that doesn't mean I can't still be capable and proud and diligent. But, you know, I tell myself that I can resist some of these temptations, and like, you don't need treats, man. You know, it's not a treat if you do it every day. Then it's just a thing you do, but it's tough to overcome. So that's my answer. Where do you buy your jeans? My jeans on my legs? I think these ones I got at Target. They're actually getting a little too big, which is, you know, I guess a good problem to have, but also annoying because it makes my butt look saggy. And I'm not doing all these squats for nothing. I want my butt to be looking nice. But Target, I think. I haven't even tried on the pants that Angela got me for Christmas, because that was a pretty heavy incentive in the beginning to get my health act together, was to fit into those jeans, or excuse me, they're corduroy pants. I should try them on, because I think I am down a size or two. Where do I buy my jeans? Target, I guess. I guess I could probably not do that. Where else would I buy jeans? I don't even know. I'm dumb. Where would you want to retire to? Oh. Well, it'd be nice to go back to my hometown, Carmel, Monterey, that area. It's so beautiful there, and people retire there. It's pretty expensive, though. And, you know, if you get the full luxury experience. My parents are going to Las Vegas. It'd be nice to be around family. Especially if I plan on having a family of my own. It'd be nice for my family to be able to see my family. Plus, I understand Las Vegas is the spot. You know, it's one of the taxes you don't have. Is it property tax, state tax? I don't even know. But there's incentive. Plus, it's warm. Gosh, I love the cold weather, though. And the rain, ugh. I don't think that's good for a person's old bones. Man, I had a coworker. It was supposed to rain the other day, and he was like saying something about his trick knee, and I was like, oh, maybe it is gonna rain, because that people experience joint pain when there's changes in the weather and it's gonna rain. He was like, what? He like didn't buy it he thought I was making it up entirely, and I'm like, no, it's a thing. People with bad joints experience pain when it's gonna rain. That's extremely a thing, isn't it? I haven't looked it up, but like, I'm so certain that's a thing. Anyway. What do you like about your home? It's quaint. It has most of the stuff that I want and need. It stays nice and chilly in the cold times. A very nice, cute cat lives here. Hi, doing? It's in the vicinity of my grand ambitions where I can practice them and pursue them. There's lots of other stuff to do around here when, you know, like obviously COVID was a thing this past year, so I haven't had a chance to really flex my fun time muscles. What else do I like about this place? I have an espresso machine where I make really good coffee sometimes. I have an air fryer, which I use to cook broccoli really good. There's a park up the street where I can go and walk and jog if I feel so inclined. There's also a library that I haven't been to since I got my library card because of COVID, but it's nice that there's a library right up the street. There's also 7-Eleven, but I don't like walking there just because there's this one bus stop where people set up camp pretty often, and it's a little sketchy. Ironic, because a lot of the times I park my car further than I am from the 7-Eleven, but it's on the other side of the street, so whatever. There's also a grocery store very close. I just love being near stuff. I love not having to make a trip or a journey to places. I like just being able to casually go get it. Like, that's one thing that really appeals to me about the New York lifestyle, like having things stacked on top of each other like that. Like, to think that I could just go downstairs and get a coffee and a croissant and come back upstairs and eat it. Like, that sounds pretty fucking sick to me. That sounds like the life. Or a diner. Oh my God. Imagine if I lived on top of a 24-hour diner. Holy shit. That would be the dream. I would quit everything. I would just do that. I would just chill all day and then go hang out at the diner downstairs. Oh my God. That would be a dream. What is the first thing I do when I get home? Take my socks off. They're usually pretty sweaty at that point. And then usually Dwayne's meowing at me, so I usually have to pick him up and give him a kiss on his little head so he'll stop meowing at me. What is something you wish you were gifted at doing? I wish that I could sing extremely well, and then I could just like belt it out on a whim. And to be able to sing really nicely and play the guitar simultaneously would be pretty sick. I get so self-conscious a lot of the times that, like, when I'm by myself, I can play the guitar and be happy with what I'm playing. But if there's someone else in the room, then I usually fucking beef it. But I think a lot of people are like that. What is the last thing you downloaded onto your computer? That picture of the ghost clown from Big Bad Beetleborgs that looks like Jay Leno. I haven't gotten around to deleting it. I like it. He looks just like Jay Leno. Before that, probably that Pokemon Platinum emulator that I stopped playing. I just got bored. I don't know. I don't know. The remakes are coming out later this year. I'll just fucking play the remakes. It's fine. I'm sure the music will be good. I'm sure I'll be able to get the full experience one way or another. What kind of car do you drive? Honda Civic, baby. A fine ride. A healthy steed. What was the most recent compliment you've received and savored? The other day at work, I was in a section with one other person, and we got fucking slammed because we were down a person. Normally, this section has 3 people, but it was just the 2 of us. We got fucking slammed. And the other person was a little bit newer at the job. Not that they were incapable, but they were definitely, like, feeling the heat a little more. And so I took on, like, a little bit more of the workload at certain points. And afterwards, when it started to slow down, he came up to me. He was like, "You're a fucking beast, bro. Holy shit. You had like 5-6 tables that whole entire time. How the hell? I don't know how you kept your cool that whole time, dude." And I was like, "Yeah, beast mode, baby. Yeah, beast mode." So that felt nice to, like, be recognized for something I've spent a lot of time doing. Like, I don't try to be good at the job, but it is difficult for me to not want to be good at the thing I'm doing. I hate not being good at stuff. If I'm doing something, I want to be doing it well. So even if it's just my day job and I don't want to commit too much of myself to it, I'll still find myself doing it anyway, just because, like, I can't stand the idea of not doing a good job. I don't know. It's a good trait to have, but it's one that is easy to accidentally execute under circumstances where you can be taken advantage of and lose yourself too, if that makes sense. But you can also live a very happy, good life doing a good job at something and feeling good about that. Do whatever that activity may be. What was the last thing you bought? I was at the store and I bought some avocado and some toilet paper. Well, technically today I bought shrimp to put on my big salad at work. But that gets taken out of my tips, which I earned. So if anything, it's money that I never actually technically had. It's money that I just allotted towards shrimp. So it would have been the avocado and the toilet paper. What was your first job? I was a grocery bagger at Save Mart supermarkets in Sand City. A family member got me the job. It was my first job out of high school. I started working like literally out of high school, like that summer. I had maybe like a week of summer vacation before I went to work. And that was fine. And then they promoted me to the deli, and I did that for a little while, and that actually kind of sucked. That was harder work, and I gained a grip of weight because I just couldn't stop eating fried chicken and like salami and shit. But then I stopped working there and I lost the weight again, and I started working at Starbucks, and that was pretty cool at first. But then, same as I was saying before, I kind of lost myself to that for a little while, and it allowed me to move to LA, which was nice. I had a job that I could transfer to, which was nice. But anyway, that was my first job, was bagging groceries at Save Mart. What artistic endeavors have I tried and decided I was bad at? Oh, well, I guess, like, Like writing music, like writing real songs. I guess I just can't do it. I can write riffs that I like, but I can't put them next to other riffs to make a song. I think there's a term called like riff salad, where it's just like you take a bunch of different passages and you just like toss them together, and it doesn't sound good. It just sounds like a bunch of shit next to each other. Like that's kind of how I play instruments when it comes to creating original content. Same with every instrument I play, because I also play the drums, but whenever I'm quote unquote jamming, it ends up just being a bunch of random beats next to each other. So I don't think I could do a good job writing music. I would probably need to actually be taught how to do it. Yeah, I can play the instruments, but I can't write the songs. I can play songs that have been written, but that's different. I am going to answer one more of these questions, and then I'm going to tell the jokes that I wrote this past week, and then I'm going to call it a day, gang. So thanks for sticking around. I hope this has been interesting. I'm actually kind of having fun. Some of these are a little heavier than I anticipated, but it's certainly been fun. Ooh. When making an entrance into a party, do you make your presence known? Do you slip in and look for someone you know? Do you sneak in quietly and find a safe spot to roost? Me personally, if I know the person hosting the party, I seek them out and I let them know I'm here, and chances are I want to hang out with them, so I try to hang out with them. If it's a party where I don't know the person hosting terribly well, chances are I'm there with people that I do know well, so I try to keep with them at least. But, I still try to be friendly to the best of my ability. But there have been a few occasions where I went to a party where I did not know people terribly well, but I somehow got invited, maybe as a joke. I don't know. And that was extremely awkward. And yeah. So usually I know someone there, so I look for someone I know. I don't walk in and be like, the party's here, whoa! But I do seek out, I guess I slip in and look for someone I know. I guess that's the answer. I guess I'm not a big party guy. I don't know. Like, I'd rather just hang out with people that I know and be hanging out with them instead of, I don't know. Like, there was a time when everyone was experimenting and learning and feeling themselves out. And some people thrive in those environments, and more power to them. But me, I think I thrive in an environment where I know everybody or most of the people there, and I can concentrate my attention towards them. And that's that. That's all the questions I'm answering. So now I'm going to tell you some jokes that I wrote this past week. Hey. Oh, yeah. This past week, yeah, I should mention that joke writing club I'm a part of, the Hot Breath Write 10 Club. One of the most active members, who has been like so welcoming and kind and nice, passed away, sadly. A gentleman by the name of P.J. Keene. It's extraordinarily tragic. I the day I found out, I was honestly pretty shook. I didn't know him terribly well. I only actually spoke to him on one occasion. But seeing how loved he was and how much positivity he was spreading and how welcoming he was to not everyone, but towards me was, you hate to see it happen, and it's unfortunate because he had parts of his life that, yeah. So rest in peace, PJ. I appreciate you. You've made an impact on many people, and thanks for all the goodness that you put out into the world. I wrote a few jokes. Let's see. My wife tells me she's always ready to make a citizen's arrest, and that's why she keeps handcuffs in her purse. I'm still not sure why she opted for the fuzzy ones. Maybe she just wants them to be comfy. This isn't even a joke. This should have been a tweet. A superhero that just wants to help sleepy residents nap. And they shout, "Give that citizen a rest." Give that joke a punchline. More like it. Let's see. Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And those who don't learn any other subjects in school are doomed to teach history. Man, I had one or two cool history teachers, but I had one real stinker of a history teacher. That guy sucked, and he had a really bad attitude. Man, I have his name in my head, but I don't want to call him out. To hell with that guy. That guy sucked. Like, when I was in the thick of it, I just assumed it was my fault, that I was just a bad kid with a bad attitude, and I deserved to be treated like shit. He attacked me personally, I think, twice? Not attacked. He called me out twice on things that I still don't think were warranted being called out on. And he was just a dick to other people, and, yeah, fuck that guy. This joke's for you, fucking turd. Anyway. They say history is the greatest teacher, but history never taught me how to play dodgeball like Mr. Matthews did. Shout out, Mr. Matthews. I never had a Mr. Matthews, but I think it's pretty clear to see that he was a PE teacher in this hypothetical. They say history is the greatest teacher, but I don't know. Mrs. McMillan let us play with Play-Doh in her class. That's the same joke with a different ending. Something in the headlines. Mattel is asking people to send them their old toys so they can be recycled into new toys. I'd love to participate, but these old Nod-on Ninja Turtles would be considered hazardous material by the post office. I wrote another version of that where it's... yeah, like, it's kind of a low-hanging fruit situation, I feel like, because, how there are creepy dudes out there who really enjoy those My Little Ponies. Yeah, pretty much the same joke I just told, except with even more hazardous materials, and it's perverted because it's the My Little Ponies. So I'm not even going to do it the service of formulating it into a real joke. I'm going to move on instead. I've been told that knowing me is like reading an open book. But I actually think I'm more like an audiobook. I go on much longer than people think I will, and they rarely want to listen to me outside of work. I think that's killer. I really enjoy that joke. I understand you're supposed to do a rule of threes, but I feel like just these two work fine, side by side. I could try to think of a third one, but if the joke's already pretty long, so I don't know what a third one would do. I think it's fine as is, personally. And the rest of these are fucking trash, so... Alright, we did it, boys and gals and everything and everyone in between and outside. So let's put a bow on this. Thanks for sticking around, team. You know I love you. I appreciate you. Follow me on Twitter at Drew J. Fahey, on Instagram at Tank J. Fahey. Sub on that YouTube. If I get to 100 subscribers, I can make a custom URL. That would be nice. But I guess that's also on me to actually publicize this fucking thing. I just get so embarrassed. I know. What did you drink today? Did you drink water? You should have. What's stopping you? It's everywhere. You could get it from the tap. You could get it. Some of you have it plugged into your refrigerator, like it comes out cold and crisp. You got it in fountains at playgrounds. You got it in bottles and vending machines. You can go to Starbucks and get a fucking water. So what's stopping you, dudes? Drink water. It's good for you. And you know what? You know what tastes so good? If you just put a little squeeze of a lemon in there. That right there might just change your life.